right, hey guys. Finally, I got around to doing the video, the 100-meter tips, what I've learned throughout my journey. Yes, I did in fact set a personal best 100-meter at 41 years old. I know, it's freaking weird. As you can see back there, I got the hanging monkey. He's been looking forward to some 100-meter tips as well. He's taking a little nap, but we're gonna get this going. Before we do anything at all, I wanna make sure a lot of you understand where I came from. I think that's where we have to begin. I started training when I was 9 years old. It was 1988, and it was the Arco Jesse Owens games. Big meet for me, 50-meter dash, baby. What place do you think I got in my first race ever? First place? Second place? Third place. But that's okay, because it was my first race. Now it's 8.32 seconds, that's a hand time. I felt pretty good about it, not super happy. I wanted to do better than that. So then the 100-meter dash was like 20 minutes later. I thought, now this is where I really get to rip it. How do you think I did? What do you think? Second place? Huh? No. I'm a winner. I am not a winner. I am not a winner. That was fourth place, and that's what they gave the kids. Was an I'm a winner. If you got 4th or 30th, they gave you an I'm a winner. And they expect us as children to not know the difference between a good ribbon and a crap ribbon. Anyways, 18.5 second 100 meter. Clearly, I was not a genetically gifted sprinter. So, moving on in the journey, just to continue to make my point about this. This was 7th grade. I had just turned 13, 100-meter dash. And I felt really good coming in. I felt strong, felt fast, quick. Boom. 6th place in my heat. There was 7 or 8 of us, 14.56 for the 100 meters. There was like 5 heats in the 100 meter. The kid who won ran like 12.3. As a 13-year-old kid. Now it's a hand time, so it's 12:54 corrected FAT. The freshman year of high school, by the way, was trying to make the sprint squad, ran a 14 flat. So I went to a big school, and what the coaches would do is, if you were new to the program, which obviously I was being a freshman, and they would do time trials with many other people. You do your time trial, many coaches time you, and I did not make the sprint squad. I wasn't even considered for the B team, for the 4x1 team. So that's that. There's no bitter feelings. I'm not angry at all. Yeah. So my fastest time in high school was senior year. I did not run track actually ever again. I kind of was done. I ran the 800 a little bit freshman year. Did some high jump because I was 5 feet tall, I guess. I don't know. I had a good vertical. Moving forward through time, I was able to go from basically 26 years old. I trained for about 6 months. I ran a 12.5 hand time, and that was my best time I thought I was capable of. And then fast forward to age 37, 11-year break, and my first time out was a 12.19 hand time, but it ended up being a 12.48 on what I call ETM, which is electronic timing method or exact timing method. You guys have all probably, if you've seen any of my videos, I have a clock up in the corner. And that I set it to the exact first twitch, and then obviously the clock doesn't stop until my torso crosses the finish line. It's much more accurate than a hand time, because if you take the 12.19 and do a corrected time on it, it's 12.44 FAT corrected time, when in fact 12.48 was the exact timing method time. I've found you need to add about 0.15 of a second to that in order to get an accurate FAT time. So we'll get into it when I go through the timing methods. Right now, we're just kind of going down the progression. So my best time when I was 37 years old was 11:62, and that's ETM. It was an 11.4 hand time. So as we progress, my best time at age 38 was 11.41 ETM. So we're talking that's probably an 11.56 FAT to potentially 11.61 FAT. That was actually an 11.2 hand time, so you can see the difference here. Age 39, 11.05. I originally thought that I had gone sub 11 at this time on the ETM clock. My ancient phone that I ended up editing on was not able to zoom in. Once I was able to actually zoom in, I was like, oh my gosh, there's movement before. So that was like a 10.8 or 10.9 before. And my whole goal was just to create an accurate, repeatable timing method that was honest to what I was doing to improve my training. Age 40, I finally officially broke 11 seconds. I ran 10.94 on the exact timing method, which we just went over, and that was also a 10.8. I think that was a 10.8 100 meter hand time. And so I had figured some things out from age 38 to age 40, and then age 41 I actually did run my best time on camera, which was 10.86 with that clock. I think it was like a 10.69 hand time. So at age 41, and you guys saw where I came from with all these times. So anyways, I'm gonna be very excited to give a lot of the tips. And I don't want anyone to have false expectations. There's no magic bullet here. And speed grows like a tree, as someone very smart once said. I heard a coach say that. So that's my progression. My fastest times I've ever been timed at was a 10.5 hand time. I do not believe it was that fast. And then I've been timed at like 10.69 and 10.73 were my fastest hand times by coaches actually. So there it is, guys. That's kind of like the history. Now, the second part of this video is going to be basically the overview of the training tips that I'm gonna go through. Okay, so number one, make sure that you are healthy enough to sprint. Sprinting at near maximal effort is so much different than jogging or running, even running fast. Sprinting is its own thing. Please make sure you are healthy. I know this is kind of boring to go through. I'm going to actually give a couple tips through here actually. If you have not sprinted at least 85-90% effort in the last 3 to 6 weeks or so, really take it slow when you get out there. It can be really beneficial to maybe start with hill training or even stadium stairs, things like that. Really take your time when you're working up here. Also, make sure you have a reliable, consistent, repeatable timing method when you are doing your time trials. And also, when you're doing your time trials, if you're outdoors, always take note of the weather. Take note of stuff like that, man. If you had a big tailwind, write it down. Write down, whatever the weather said. If it said, 10 miles an hour, great. Temperature, humidity, all that stuff. Now, this is for you if you have been sprint training at or around 100% for some time and you have not made any improvements, you're not injured, everything seems to be going well. This right here, to get faster, you must identify your weaknesses, okay? You have to identify your limiting factors. If you don't, you're only as strong as your weakest link, okay? That is very important. You have to also ask yourself, have you been training consistently for a period of at least months? Because if you have not, that's the first thing, is you want to make sure you're training consistently. My own personal limiting factors, I needed to get stronger with weights. That's not going to be the case for everybody. For me, it was I must get stronger with weights in that 1 to 5 rep range. So I did not know that I was going to actually start sprinting again, but I had been training about 3 years and quite heavy. I worked up to, like a 455 single on squats, a 305 bench, and I was under 200 pounds. So I worked up to some pretty good strengths. What I think that did was actually, it strengthened the muscles, yes, the fast twitch fibers, yes, also the nervous system, tendons, ligaments, things like that, bone density probably. All these things that were actually preparing me to go out. And the first time out when I was 37, I set a PR in the 100. So that's a very interesting thing. My 2 fastest 100 meters that I've ever run were 8 and 10 months after ever touching a weight. Even when I was lifting before that, it was fairly light, nothing really too crazy when it came to that stuff. So just making note of that. Number 2, working on sprint form, man. That was my big thing. I mean, my form was awful. It was pretty bad. So that's another one. Next one was actually sprinting at 95 to 100% effort 2 to 3 days a week. For me, literally, it was just about getting out there and doing it. Heavy emphasis on the start and acceleration phase, 20 to 30 meter flying sprints, and also doing ins and outs. I'll explain ins and outs if you're not familiar with them. Just actually sprinting at or near maximal effort. Honestly, we're gonna get into that, but a little bit of I mean, that's what's gonna make you faster, just so you know. For me, I had very good stride frequency, very good stride frequency. So for me, it was all about making sure I left my foot on the ground behind me a bit longer and truly pushing out of the start. Really taking my time and not, worried about frequency as much as worried about actually hitting the ground, pushing hard, pushing back. For me, that made it work. And I'm not talking about reaching forward. I'm talking about leaving my foot on the ground for a split second longer, and it makes a difference. Obviously, learning to sprint fast while remaining relaxed is very important. It takes practice, takes patience. Isometrics with weights and isometrics with bands. These are things I incorporated. Plyometrics, yes, but not a whole lot. Sprinting is actually a plyometric. That should be the main focus. Negatives for hamstrings, like the Nordic hamstring curl. Hill sprints can be beneficial, but don't overdo it. Off season, probably, and that's about it. Overtraining versus undertraining, how to know the difference. Rest and sleep, diet, body weight, body composition. 100-meter dash versus 40-yard dash. 40-yard dash, they both require skill and practice, but they're both very different. So I am going to go over some timing methods in the next video, but this is really the overview of what I'm going to go through, is everything that we just went over in the next episode. And then we will get to keys to success, man, and also isometric training. Plyos, negatives, hill sprints, rest, and overtraining will be the next episode, and then body weight and composition, overall overview of the program. And there we go. All right, guys. So there it is. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I'm also open to do like a live video if any of you want to like tune in. If not, I'll just keep doing it this way. But I'm definitely open to do a live video with any of you out there. So this has been the end of episode 1. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. I would love it. If you want to like the video, that'd be great. Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. And I'll holler at you soon.